What's up, YouTube? A friend of mine recently purchased a Rolex GMT 16710 Coke bezel, and she had asked that I replace the bracelet because it's not feminine enough for her, which is quite true, but a little bit sad. So before I change the bracelet, I just wanted to do a quick how-to on how to change it. So before I take it off, here's a look at it on the wrist before it gets the new strap. The new strap is red leather, so this is the stainless steel version. And here we go. Before we get started, I just want to mention that the spring bar holes are on the sides of the lugs for this version. Newer versions have them on the back, so just one thing to kind of take a note of. And one last look in stainless steel. As you can see, the spring bar holes are on the side of the lugs on older style Rolexes, circa 2002, 2003 and below. Newer styles have them on the underside where the holes aren't visible. This gives it a little bit of a vintage, not vintage, but a classic Rolex look. So you can hear that when I compress the spring bars, they tend to click back, and it's because I'm not putting enough counter pressure on it. So I have to pull gently while I'm compressing so that it doesn't pop back into place. And then go to the other side and do the same thing. Then once you feel it move, it should just pop right on out. The tool I'm using is a Bergen spring bar tool that I got off Amazon, and it's definitely worth its weight. It's saved me a bit of time and money from going to the watch store by doing this myself. So push down on the spring bar release and pull on the bracelet gently. If you can hold the tension, go to the other side and compress the spring bar release so that it just gets underneath the lug, and you should just pop it right on out and just slide out. And that's how you separate the head from the bracelet, nice and easy. So the band we're going to replace the steel bracelet with is a red leather band that's available on Amazon, and it's very thick and specifically made to fit Rolex. I'm not particularly a fan, but I'm mainly doing this video to show others how to do it, just in case they need a video reference. So just make sure that the band is the appropriate size, and then put the spring bars in the spring bar holder on the leather strap. In this case, the strap is of high quality and the leather is very tight, so it doesn't go in all the way without a bit of pressure. So in this case, I use the spring bar tool to widen the hole a little bit and make it a little easier. You can see after expanding the hole a little bit that the spring bar fits right in and just needs a little bit of coercion to get the spring bar ends in the right place. So I repeat this procedure on the other side, except this time I'll start by expanding the spring bar hold first on both ends, and then inserting the spring bar into the strap. Then once again, I'll get it placed down and ready to put back on the head of the watch. So in this case, there's a little bit of extra slack. Gotta remove that. Then, now that we're done, so mock it up and get it ready. And here comes the tricky part, because you don't want to mar the polished ends. So I pre-insert one side and then I try to compress. In this case, I use the flat side of the spring tool that has a little bit of a fork to compress the spring bar. And I go from the back so that if I do end up with a scratch, that you can't really see it. And this is one place to look at on a Rolex, on used Rolexes, to see if if a used model had the strap changed. Very rarely do they not mess up the back. In almost all cases, if you buy a used Rolex and the strap is changed, you'll see some hairline scratches on the back of the lugs. This goes on classic, older ones and newer ones. It's almost unavoidable. But if there aren't any, then great. However, it's not something that people can see anyway, so it's not a huge deal. So that's a look at it, and we'll just once again repeat the process on the other side by first inserting one side and then compressing the other side with the spring tool. You just got to make sure that both ends are even. So I'll carefully adjust it and then approach it from the back. And this works with most watches, so it's not just Rolexes. You can adjust any watch like this or change the straps fairly easily. And then once it's in place, you'll hear it pop. I just got a little click. And there you have it. That's the finished product. So it's now in place, and this is what it looks like. I'm not too much of a fan of it, but that is how you change the bracelet on a Rolex, or any watch for that matter. If you like, please comment, like, and subscribe. And here's a look. No damage on the sides. Sweet.